Nestled in the Owlerton district of Sheffield hides a quiet place of green in the otherwise industrial city, Wardsend Cemetery. A cemetery teeming with wildlife, where plants spill across the forest floor, and canopies of old trees cradle birds, their calls echoing through gravestones dating from 1857. Time seems to halt within the 5 acres of woodland, disturbed only by the rattle of a train that passes through, or the sound of the wind scattering leaves and seeds up the central path. The resting place of over 20,000 people has faced neglect by authorities over the years, yet is currently under the watchful eye of the Friends of Wardsend Cemetery, a group who seeks to preserve the peaceful wilderness. The people buried here hold a great significance to the history of Sheffield, from the victims of the Great Flood in 1864 to military families. However, another significant part of history is held within the confines of the grounds. Plants. Piercing through the earth, plants of all varieties thrive in the fertile soil of Wardsend, providing homes for wildlife and an ethereally peaceful atmosphere. Some are native, local to Britain, but some are far from home. British colonies spread as the empire crawled across the globe, influencing culture, fashion, and aesthetics at home in Britain. Explorers scoured the globe for plant oddities, unseen in British flora at home. With the freedom of seeds to be brought back to Britain from countries afar, unlike the strict regulations of today, exotic flora became fashionable at home, peaking in the early 1800s. Non-native species of plants appeared everywhere, and soon became favourites of the British public. Much like today, often if people loved a certain plant, they would have it grown upon their grave after death. Hence why such a variation of species of non-native flora can be seen within the cemetery. The spotted leaves of Japanese laurel hang over the path. Introduced to Britain in the 1780s, it became widely cultivated after being brought back from Japan by a botanising trip organised by John Grafer. This leafy green is easily identifiable by its glossy, pale freckled leaves, often growing larger than 6 feet tall. A great laurel, or rhododendron, sprouts between gravestones. Swathes of them crowd the entrance of the cemetery, their pink and purple flowers in early bloom. An invasive, non-native species from Spain and Portugal, it is a common sight around British woodlands, with Wardsend being no exception. Their thick, tangled stalks create a perfect habitat for small mammals and birds, but also make them incredibly hard to get rid of. Advertised in 1763 as an ornamental shrub, it gained popularity and later became a nuisance. Another plant found sprouting from the cemetery undergrowth is Japanese knotweed, modernly seen as an invasive pest, originally brought home from Japan by Philip Franz Balthasar von Siebold. Their bamboo-like, red-flecked, hollow stalks and peculiar-looking leaves became fashionable in British botanical spheres and gardens, and they were highly accessible for the public to purchase by 1869. Also hailing from Japan, buddleia thrives in the cemetery grounds, attracting butterflies and flaking their seeds in order to spread further. Like many invasive, non-native plants in Wardsend, the landscape of the cemetery helps their seeds disperse. The wind captured by the hillside and the movement of the train both help seeds move across the cemetery. Because of this, it is difficult to pinpoint the exact gravestone where some of these plants were originally planted. But, with the knowledge of wind direction and the density of plants in an area, we may be able to take educated guesses. A vast biodiversity lies in the depths of Wardsend Cemetery, encasing a host of species of flora from a great range of origins, at home and afar.